Morning, everybody. This is Lucien again at Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. This is our beginner/intermediate Hung Kuen or Hung Kung Fu class. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed, we've been pushing since all of this stuff with COVID started. We've been trying to build up our YouTube channel and grow our audience. You need 1,000 views and 4,000 hours to get monetized by YouTube. So at that point, we can make a little revenue off of this without ever having to ask you, our viewers. We are right now, we have well over 4,000. We have almost 4,700 hours of viewed video. We have almost over 500 classes online archived, so you can always come back and refer to all of that stuff. But we're right now at 995 subscribers. We got 5 to go. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to class today, to our YouTube channel today, and help us get across that threshold. It will help to ensure that we're able to keep offering these classes well into the future. All right, so with that being said, we're going to do a series of fundamental exercises. The format of all of our classes is the same. We do this same series of Kung Fu warm-ups, a little bit of stretching, some bridge work, and then we do some basic punches and kicks. So we're basically working the fundamentals and then moving on. We were going to work the 5 stances drill that we do here. It's a traditional Hung Kuen 5 stances drill that our sifu Calvin Chin created. And then we work on Moy Fa Kuen, the first form, Lao Ga Kuen, the second form, Bumble Kuen, the third form. And depending on how involved we get in details of all of those forms, we then will even have time possibly for Ching Cheurng, which is the War Palm set, the 4th form that we teach here. So in any case, we do want to utilize the mirrors as we go. So if you can't see something directly from the head of the camera, try to look at the reflection in the mirrors. We have mirrors set up on the backs and the angles, and hopefully that will help. So we're going to start feet shoulder width, nice big hoop, and we turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Reaching over. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Raising the arms, we're going to stretch towards the floor, keeping the legs straight. 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Middle once, inhale, and exhale. And again, 1, 2, 3. Right, 2, 3. Left, 2, 3. Middle once, inhale, exhale. And again, 1, 2, 3. To your right, 2, 3. To your left, 2, 3. Middle once, inhale, and exhale. Hands on the waist, rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, fixing the mic cable here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Let's switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Crossing the hands, knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Switch hands, switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Hands on the waist, turning the head side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Tilting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Rotation, looking all the way around. 1, 2, and 3. We switch. 1, 2, and 3. We open up the feet, arms out. You're going to turn the waist. Turn your head, trying to look behind you, and the arms just go along for the ride. Stay relaxed and loose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to cross our fingers, turn to the right, bending the knee, keep the back vertical, and bend your left leg, lift the heel off the floor, and stretch. So you're stretching that thigh. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, and 3. Both feet flat. We stretch. Switch. Switch, toe up. Switch, toe up. Okay, stand up, turn to your right, both legs straight, bending at the waist, stretch. Switch. To the middle. Bring the feet in, toes out, elbows between the knees, palms together. We call this the frog, stretching the hip and the ankle. Good, we sit, both feet together, butterfly position. Put your right leg out, bring your left foot in, stretch towards your right foot. And switch. Both feet out front, hands behind you, bounce, switch, and up. Okay, so next up we're going to open up into a horse stance. We're going to do some bridges. We start in the ready position, hands at the sides, make fists, raise them up, bend the knees, heels out, toes out, heels out, and lastly toes out until the feet are parallel with each other. They're straight, flat. You don't want to roll up on the edges. Knees are bent out, back is straight, body's relaxed, elbows are back, and we're going to start with ping choi or reverse punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Now we do low block. Press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Closing. 1, 2. Now we do middle block. 1, 2, 3. You want to stop at the shoulder. Don't let the hand go out too far. And do come across the entire body. If you just bring your hand up here, the punch can still get through. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Closing, 1, 2. High block, we lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. So remember, we want to come up the middle and lift. You don't want to just bring your hand around because you can still be hit. So you want to come up the middle and you're protected the whole time. Now we're going to do Lim Wam Sam Sik, all 3 on the same arm. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Closing, 1, 2. Now we're going to do low block with a punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing, 1, 2. Middle block punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing, 1, 2. High block punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Closing, 1, 2. Now Danji Kyoseo, squeeze down all the fingers except for your index finger. That index finger points straight up and down. Pull back. We're going to come back to this starting position regardless of which direction we go. We're going to start pushing out to the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Going low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thrust, flip, roll, press. Thrust, flip, roll, press. Thrust, flip, roll, press. And we close. 1, 2. Closing the stance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake it out. Deep breathing. Palms up, elbows down, elbows out. Inhale and exhale. Palms up, elbows down, elbows out. Inhale and exhale. Palms up, elbows down, elbows out. Inhale and exhale. It is unseasonably warm right now, actually. I don't know what it's like wherever you are in the world, but in Boston it's like 70 degrees right now, which is not very common for November. So anyway, got me sweating a little. All right, so next up we're going to do punches. Feet shoulder width, bending the knees slightly. This helps to anchor your balance. If your knees are locked straight, every movement that you do is going to affect your balance. If you bend your knees, you kind of shock absorb, make a solid base. You don't have to be in a deep horse stance depth, just slightly bent. Everything relaxed. Left hand's on the waist. Your elbows should be out to the side of the body. You don't want to be back here. Here, this keeps the shoulders square to the front. Fist in the middle. Yetdu Choi. We're going to punch out and continue. Okay, switch and punch. Okay, stop to the side and punch. Stop, switch, punch. Okay, stop, both fists by the ears, vertical elbow, hiwa choi. We turn the waist, keep the body moving, the head still staring forward at your opponent. Make sure that as you alternate, the alternate fist that comes from the low position of the punch is going to come back to its starting position by the ear, and in this way protect you on that side. Okay, stop. Bina choi, edge of the fist, out to the side. Okay, switch, punch. Okay, stop, Cheilun choi, cartwheel punch. Make sure you keep the center. A lot of times people are doing this, but you leave yourself open. You want to cycle one over the other in the center line. I'll turn to the side so you can see as well. Nice even circle. Okay, stop, kwa choi, back of the fist. Okay, switch, punch. Okay, very good. Point your right toe to the corner, lightly touch with your left toe, so you don't want to have weight on your front foot. We are going to switch feet, and I want to keep the weight on the back leg, don't let it come forward. Letting it come forward, you end up having to take the weight off before you can move that foot. So for speed and efficiency, keep your weight on the back leg. Left fist out, right fist is low block, and we switch. Switch, and continue. And stop. Good. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Very good. So next up, we're going to do kicks. We're going to do a series of 5 kicks, 6 kicks each leg, or 6 repetition each leg, 5 different kicks. So we're going to start in a leaning stance. If you can see in these side mirrors, my left knee is bent, my right leg is straight, my weight is forward, and both shoulders are squared. One of the things we see a lot is that people kind of start in this halfway position. If you start here, it's going to take you longer distance, therefore longer time to get back to center. If you start here, you react, you punch, lift the knee, kick with the toe pointed, step back, and punch. It's more efficient. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. Let's switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's switch. Left foot forward, kicking with the right. Same procedure, except for we're going to push out with the heel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We switch. Okay, straight leg kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch. Kicking with the left leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch. Last kick is a round kick. I did this yesterday in the Zoom class with kids. By the way, while we're happily accepting new students at the school. Because of social distancing measures, we're unable to accept any students under the age of 10, just because, as you all know, 5-year-olds are great, but they don't necessarily know physical space boundaries as well as some of our adult students. So if you have a kid who's interested, or you're interested in Kung Fu class for your kid, and they're under the age of 10, you can reach out to me, Lucien, at calvinchin.com. Or you can go to my website, which is martialartsforlife.net. And I have classes that I'm teaching by Zoom only. But anyway, so what you want to do, you want to use the chair to help bring your knee up and over. One of the key things with a round kick or a roundhouse is getting the direction from the knee and the hip. So a lot of people will focus on the foot, and you don't really get that much power that way. When you're here, if you can get your knee up and over so your knee is parallel to the floor and you're facing this way, then to extend the foot, it doesn't take much. So let's try that with the chair. Don't kick the chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now that's waist high, kind of a 90-degree kick. If you can get your knee and your hip to cooperate for that kind of action, then throwing it at a 45-degree towards the head is a pretty simple task. All right, so we'll do deep breathing. Okay, get a quick drink of water, and we'll continue. So actually, a lot of times we practice our horse stance in a static position, and we may think, oh, I have a great horse stance, but then when you go to move and make a transition from one stance to the next, which is what happens in a self-defense situation, you can't just stay still and be strong and hope that you're going to be able to defend yourself with that alone. You have to move. You have to be able to get to your opponent and get away from your opponent, so footwork becomes critically important. But even when it comes to horse stance, getting to a place where you're used to the alignment of your feet so that you don't have to think about where to put your feet is really important, because this is a traditional horse stance. This is an offset horse stance. There's a straight line from front toe to rear heel. When I turn from here to leaning stance, there's alignment. So if you throw a punch from here, you're going to have good balance and good structure. If you put this foot over here, kind of a reverse offset, and now go to punch, you lose your balance. So before we even jump into the 5 stances drill, where we're going to combine stances with stance transitions, with striking and blocking techniques with the arms, we also have a very fundamental basic 4 stance drill that we do. And here's how it works. We start in our ready position, we make fists, raise them up. Here's our first horse stance, Sei Ping Ma. Toe to toe, straight line, feet parallel, knees bent out, feet are flat, back is straight, body is relaxed. Okay, so this is our traditional toe to toe Sei Ping Ma. Right? If we adjust our right foot, we're going to pull our right foot back to the right. Now we end up in a toe to heel. So toe to heel means it's a straight line from toe to heel. Okay? If I have my right toe to left heel, that means I'm headed to my right. If I have my left toe to right heel, it means I'm headed to my left. Okay? So this is our offset horse stance. Now, one of the things that happens when we do this, we pull this foot back. It's just like pivoting with a basketball. If you were going to pivot with a basketball, you wouldn't keep both feet nailed to the floor. You would pivot on the heel. So when you adjust this foot, you make a slight adjustment, pivot in the heel so both feet are still parallel to each other. Okay, same thing with the knees going out, the feet flat. Feet are parallel to each other, but now they're lined up toe to heel. Back is straight, body's relaxed. Now from here, we're going to pivot on the rear heel, the front toe, bending the right knee, straightening the left leg, and we're in our leaning stance. You notice there's a straight line down the back from your spine all the way down to the heel. Now from here, we step up, we bring this foot in, touch the heel just for reference and step straight out, lightly touching. This is a cat stance. Okay, we step forward to leaning. Pivot on the heel, pivot, pivot, and we're back to the toe. If I pivot on the left side, offset horse stance, turn to leaning. Now the left foot is forward, left knee is over the toe, back leg is straight. Same thing with the back being, the spine being straight with the leg. I don't want to bend like this. The spine's still straight. Now I step up, step out, step forward, pivot, pivot to line up the toes, kick the heel out. We're back in our horse stance, and we close. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. So this class is labeled as a beginner/intermediate. So I did want to address some of these things that are important for beginners, but also that sometimes get overlooked by students who have more experience. Maybe it's just something you didn't focus on. I mean, everyone knows horse stances are not the most fun thing. At least that's probably the popular opinion. There are a few rare people who love to just sit in a horse stance for an hour, but most people, it's not the most exciting part of martial arts. But one of the things that's happening is we're getting used to getting that alignment so we don't have to think about where the foot's going, and we're also getting used to making that stance transition from one to the next, which is important, because even if you sit in a horse stance for an hour a day and it's a super deep stance, you get really good at having that super deep stance. But when it comes time to move, your muscles are only acclimated to holding the posture. Okay, if you get used to moving, then your stance is more mobile because the muscles in your leg are acclimated. They're used to doing that, and they do it more efficiently. So anyway, so next up we're going to do 5 stances. So 5 stances, this is a drill that our Sifu Calvin Cheng created. It's a traditional Hung Kuen 5 stances. You're going to notice hand or both offensive and defensive techniques from the first form, from the second form. And this is the first thing that we teach outside of all the warm-up drills and everything we just did. This is the first thing that we start people on. Now, normally I go to 4 different directions so you can see, because we have this one camera angle since I'm normally the person controlling all the cameras, but when I'm in front of it, it's just one camera, right? Because we have these mirrors set up in this newer configuration that Sifu's trying out, I'm going to go just 2 directions. So we're going to go to the right and then the left, and that'll be that. So from here, I'm going to leave just a little bit of room. Hopefully I'm still in frame, which I believe I am because of the angle of the mirror. We're going to start, make fist, raise them up, open, push out. Drop your elbows, make fists, pull, open, push, pull, push, pull, push. For those of you that are already Hung Kuen practitioners with some experience, you may recognize this as the beginning of gunji or gunji kungfu. Lift, press, thrust, press. We make a big hoop and we close, okay? Actually, I just did mirror image, but I should start this way because you have the mirrors to see. So right fist on top, bend the knees, offset horse stance. Notice that toe to heel position we just practiced. Draw the bow, sliding step, leaning stance. Again, notice the alignment of the feet and the punch. Left hand underneath, we step all the way through to leaning, pull the elbow back, turn the waist in stance, punch. Toe out, big cross step, big hoop, turn, dragon whip's tail, pivot out. Again, notice the offset horse stance. Corner back fist. This isn't just the arm that's striking. Your right fist goes to the waist as well. Make a circle with the left hand, toe out, intercept, cat stance, punch, step straight back, cover, turn to leaning, high block, low block, Left knee up, turn, drop and chop, uppercut, and we close, okay? So from here, now we're gonna go back this way. Right fist on top, step out, chun kill, sliding step, punch. Step through, left hand underneath, elbow strike, punch. Toe out, big cross step, dragon whips tail. Corner back fist to the head, make a circle, intercept, cat stance, punch. Step back, cover. Leaning, high block, low block, left knee up, turn, drop, chop, uppercut, close. Okay, so that's our 5 stances drill. Deep breathing. Now you can do that 4 times to the left and 4 times to the right, or like we just did it, one time facing this way and 1 time facing that way. Hopefully you can see we're trying to avoid rushing from one thing to the next. We're trying to be diligent about how we set the position and posture of the feet so that when you throw your technique, you still have balance because of your stance. A lot of people think that having, using a lot of muscular strength in your legs is important to have a strong horse stance, but a horse stance is also about stability. So if you throw your technique and you lose your balance, it's kind of a waste of time, right? And so we can set things up with the position of our feet and where our weight is to make sure that we have good balance and our technique is more effective. Okay, so next up we're going to do Moy Fa Kuen, the Plum Flower Fist set. That's the first form that we teach here at Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy. So I'm going to start facing this way, and hopefully we can use the mirrors to help us. If I have to move my position to stay in frame, I'm happy to do so. So we make fists, raise them up, salute. Step straight back, feet together, close. Bend the knees, turn to your right, step out, high block, low block. Again, notice the offset horse stance. Pull your foot back half the distance, shift forward to cross stance. So you got to lift the left heel, your right heel off the floor, cross the right hand underneath, step through, dragon. Right fist on top, step back, chun kill, scoop. Toe out, step up, press, uppercut. Left hand on top, cat stance, remove. Step up, punch. Squatting, high block, hammer fist. Step up, uppercut. Left hand on top, cat stance, remove. Step up, punch. Toe out, cat stance, high block, hammer fist. Step out, cross block, turn to the rear. Drunken punch. Left hand underneath, high block, remove. Step up, punch. Squatting. Uppercut, sliding step, punch. Squatting. Right elbow up, step up, press, lift, turn the fingertips down, palms out, pull the elbows back, cut. Offset to leaning. Cat stance, remove. Punch. Now we toe out, step to the rear. I'm going to actually move to the side a little. Toe out, step to the rear. Right fist comes across. Left hand, we remove, capture, turn the waist, roll the shoulder, elbow. Low corner back fist. Palm strike to the chest, turn, high block. Shift, outside crescent, hop, kick, press. Turn your waist, trap, bong seal. Sit up, back fist. Remove, punch. Right fist on top. Step in, step back, clear the way. Draw the bow. Sliding step, palm strike to the waist. Pull your foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, punch, dragon. Right fist on top, chun kill. Sliding step, punch. Middle, salute. 1, 2, 3. And we close. All right? Deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. So one of the things I want to just point out there is, again, how important footwork is. When we're in a suspended stance, remove, we're not trying to pull back at the same time as we sit back. If the person were to grab here, I get this hand on top so it's ready to go. I keep my elbow with me here. I don't pull with my arm. I pull back with the body. And now I press as I sit and pull this back to the waist. So there's a lot of dimension to that. If I just do this, I'm trying to pull my arm back and the person's grabbed on, you'll see very quickly it doesn't really work like that, right? There's probably a million videos on YouTube of, people showing self-defense techniques that don't work, and many of them have to do with the person grabbing onto you and you just do some magical thing and it works. And some of those things actually don't work that way. You have to understand the mechanics of what you're doing. This is something that our sifu focuses a lot on, is kind of functional movement. It's not just for the look of it, but also how does it actually work. And that's important. So if you have good alignment and you're using the technique the way that it's taught, over time you end up with a better result. So okay, next up we're going to do Lao Ga Kun. That's the second form, Lao family fist set. And here we go. We make fists, raise them up, middle block, turn to leaning, toe out, cat stance. Notice my body's facing the corner. I'm going to use turning my waist to the front to give power. Otherwise, this is just arm. So I turn the waist. Step straight back, bring the elbows in, pull. Shift, pivot, pivot, middle block, cat stance. Again, I'm facing the corner. I turn to the front. This is where the power for that technique comes from the body. Step back, pivot, feet together, and close. I'm going to move to the side to make sure you can still see. Double punches up, double punches down, open, push out. Right fist on top, cross. Cross step with your left foot, toe out. Intercept with the left hand, cat stance, punch. Just like 5 stances, we step back, cover. Leaning stance, high block, low block. This one's a little different from 5 stances. We turn the waist and chop to the waist. Pull the foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, punch. Right fist on top, step in, step back, clear the way. Again, this is a toe to heel stance. Draw the bow, sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Again, the balance of your technique comes from the footwork, the proper alignment of feet. So we step all the way through, lift the right fist to the high block position, left hand out, turn the waist, Tindu, lift, Songgong. Elbows down, dragon, turn, cross step, high block, low block, pivot, sliding step, palm strike. Pull the foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, hop, thrust, cut, double chop, cross step, Tindu, Wang Chang Hoi, Phoenix Eye. Right fist on top, step out, Chun Kill, sliding step, punch. Left hand on top, step through, bend the elbow, and penetrating elbow is a thrusting elbow. Dropping palm, Lao Jiang, back fist. Right fist on top, step through, Chun Kill, punch. Step through to leaning, set the position, turn the waist and stance. Lift, Songgong, elbows down, dragon. Big cross step, high block, low block, spin out, palm strike. Pull your foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, thrust, cut, double chop, cross step, Tindu, Wang Tang Hoi, Phoenix Eye. Turn the waist and stance. Remember, a lot of times we see this as a really big arm movement, but it doesn't work that way. So from the Phoenix Eye thrusting strike with the knuckle, both hands down the height of the waist, we're going to turn to the corner. So the hands and the arms go with the body. Cross step, right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. We're going to turn the wheel as we turn the waist. So left hand ends up at the shoulder, right hand ends up at the hip. Step out, offset, turn to leaning, driving that forward. Cross step, turn, scoop. Cross step, turn the wheel, turn the waist. Step out, push. Step in, step out, low. Middle. Step in, step out, low. Middle. Step straight back, middle block. Reach out, turn the waist, chop to the neck. Adjust the foot, elbow. Dropping palm, back fist. Pivot, lift 1, 2. These are sword fingers. Cross step, open, trap. Step to the corner, press, thrust. Middle block with the left hand, step to the corner, salute. And back, 1, 2, 3. And we close. So let's do deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So sifu, today I did a little bit of the four stance drill as well, just going from saving ma, just because some people may not actually be familiar with that, but whatever you like.
So you form?
No, actually I just finished the second.
Oh, just for a second. Boy. So, spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah.
All right. So, how's the mirrors working out?
I think they're working out well.
Yeah. So you see the new configuration of mirrors, hopefully, because when we do form, it's kind of dimensional. So with the corner mirrors, you actually can see a lot better. With the second form, even though, most forms actually work in this cross pattern, and then we have the 45-degree corners. So even with the butterflies, the second form, we're in this position and we turn into this corner. We really have to be able to see what the movements look like when you're following from behind. And then when I turn this way and I cross over and step forward, you can see the side position, the rear position, and the directly behind position, which is over here. So actually, if you're following the form, depends on which image you actually want to view. You can see all three of those simultaneously, and then you could pick, based on what you're trying to figure out. Because body form and postures are something that a lot of us really don't understand, especially newer people. Newer people really, like they say in a lot of the videos, that people just learn by copying. But copying has its limits because of the level of understanding. And even with some of my teachers or more advanced students, we assume that everyone can understand what we're doing, and a lot of people that have been doing it a while just take for granted that everyone knows exactly what's going on. But when you're dealing with new students, you really have to really get into their mindset and understand what they're trying to see or understand. So even yesterday in the class, I talked about when you go through some of these movements, there's a discovery, there's a level of discovery. So when you're going through a movement and you're dealing with timing, what actually do you need to do to understand what happens as far as the position and to the final position. So when we do these movements, we actually have setups and really format in direction. So when you see the movements, you can see that you have to move more than just your arms. And learning to move the rest of your body, your legs, your torso, and your waist, so forth, really don't come into play till after you kind of memorize a sequence. So when you first memorize a sequence, it's a challenge already because all these things are new. But once you've picked up the idea of what the movement should look like in the sequence, and everybody's slightly different as far as how they learn or how you learn, so you have to actually identify the most effective way that you pick up on the ideas that you are learning through these these virtual classes. So visually you pick up the image, audially you pick up some of the information. Some of it could be very deep for you to understand at this stage. Some of it maybe isn't even relevant to you, because all you're doing is thinking, I'm going to learn a new form, I'm going to memorize a sequence, and then once I've memorized that one, I want to learn the next one. It doesn't really work like that, because to be effective, you actually have to understand some of the body mechanics and form. I talk a lot about geometry of position. You can see now when we speak of geometry of position that you have the side mirrors. You can see that when the hand goes here, it's not here. It's here. You have a 45-degree line here and here. When we salute, it looks pretty flat from your view. You can't see if it's round or not. But when you look in the side view, the arms are not here. The arms are not there. I see this sometimes. But you can't tell when I talk about a circle that it's rounded. So you have to look from the different perspectives, especially if it's just kind of copying through visuals. All right. When you're in a say a cat stance, a suspended stance, you see that this is a position, but are you leaning over like this? Is your butt sticking out? All of these things make a difference. When you do your first movement in the second form, you should have a little bit of forward position, but not leaning over like this. You actually lose, your center of mass, and you also lose your power position if this is the strength leg. Your diagonal strike, we're here, this is Song Gung Siu, this is forehead. You can see from the different images that there is position. So if I'm here and I strike down like that, that gives you an idea that this is your diagonal strike. You're in the horse stance, you're in a leaning stance, you're in a elbow down position. Now this position, you see it's vertically down. If you look in that mirror or that mirror, you notice that it's not way out here, right? It's back here, or it's in here. Thrusting like this, now you can see that the angle is bigger. So these things are going to help you identify and improve your understanding, because this, you're using this from this direction or this direction. This is poking forward. So you wouldn't poke forward like this. So each one of these positions have a different purpose. So that's called functionality. Because if you're practicing this as a martial art, you want to understand the functionality. That's a stage of understanding where your body has to kind of connect with what the concept is for the technique. So, all of these things start to make sense once you begin to understand what the difference is. What's the difference between this and this and this, right? These are vertical elbows, what I call the elbow down position. This is sinking. This is turning. This is thrusting, the opposite of sinking, but this doesn't thrust this way, it thrusts that way. Do we have movements that go this way? Maybe this way, but we typically don't poke ourselves in the nose, right? So that's really going away from you. Now, is it always angular like this? No, because this one's poking toward the neck or the throat area. So that's an angular position. When you thrust like this, that's an elongated position, and that happens trapping hand, 1, 2. So there's your direction. This position and this position are kind of similar as far as the approach and direction of your movement. So that's a phoenix eye. The phoenix eye actually helps you set up your movement so that you block and thrust. But you notice your power comes from the legs. That's a concept that you have to realize, because your base is your foundation, and the power comes from your legs. It's transmitted through your body, and then it's directed through the hands. And the single knuckle is a small surface used to hit small spaces. So that's really, one of the ideas and goals. So you understand why a phoenix eye, why this, why not just a flat fist. When you chop, the edge of the hand should be this area as a focus. All of these things are sort of a progression and understanding of the body mechanics involved in your movement. So, the timing and direction of forces is very important. If my hands are going like this, that's 45 degrees. If my hand is going like this and I turn, then that becomes the block and the connection. So this is with the horse, this is with the uppercut. So while, Lucia might have gone through some of the basic, footwork where you turn to leaning stance, you go to cat stance and you move to positions. These are taking you through transitions from leg work to leg work. But mainly, what is it? Is shifting of weight. We don't realize when we're first doing footwork that we're actually shifting weight. And when you begin to understand the idea of shifting weight, then you start to become more, not just coordinated, but controlling. You're controlling your body components. Your components are your legs, your arms, and your body. So we can use different sections of our body or different joints in our body to create different types of, you can call them weapons or so your elbow is one, your fist is another one. So with that said, we're approaching the time. Is it almost 12?
Actually, we got 8 minutes.
I got 8 minutes. So if you're using different components, that's an index finger, knuckle. This is the fingertip. This is the chopping of the edge. This is the palm of the hand. This is the elbow. So these positions or these components is what you're using. An elbow, you're using the forearm. A block, you're using the forearm. A knee, you're using a knee strike. So if you did third form or if you've learned third form, we have this movement. That's a golden cockerel. That's a knee strike. You're lifting and striking. You're striking. So when you're striking, a lot of times, even in that form, the secondary hand, this hand is, I see sometimes come back, it doesn't belong there. It stays here. And the reason for that is because if you're blocking and then you're striking, you still have to stay connected or at least keep your hands in the range. You don't want to spread your hands back here. Some northern styles, well, most northern styles have their hands all over, but their approach to application is completely different. Doesn't mean it doesn't not effective. That's just a whole different style. It's how they approach it. So, with this move, you strike like this, and then from here you strike like this, and you grab this. So you shift your weight and you move your foot, you balance, and you hit a knee strike here. So there's another part of you. When you sweep and you hook, you're using your ankle and your foot to hook. When you go like this, you're using the back of the foot or the leg as a sweep. There's a heel. So these are different parts of your body that you can use. When you're in this position, right, you're using your forearm. When you're in this position, you're pulling down with your hands. So the direction of your movement is important. So all of the things that we're talking about is direction of movement, creating forces. Direction of force is this way, so you're pulling down. When you're pushing out, the direction of force away from you. When you slant down like this, the diagonal strike, whether it's Tai Chi or Kung Fu, it's a diagonal. Ten Du Siu, the diagonal stroke. I call it diagonal stroke. The diagonal fly, in Tai Chi is the same thing. It's really on the oblique. The drunken fist is a slanting oblique, right? So your slanting fist, if you go like this and you switch sides, there's your drunken fist. All that is a shift from side to side. You go from right side to your left side, or left to right. So you pass through center, you have two of those. So that's one of the few movements that is pretty simple to do because it's just doing that, right? So you're really passing through center. Center line is important. Some styles focus on center line. We actually use the center line a lot. And the center line is really directing the movement towards your center. Whereas This movement, in some cases, some people pull their hands together. We don't do that. We don't direct both hands to the center. We direct both hands parallel. Now, there are some instances where your movement slants. So slanting and square are two different movements. When we go like this, that's slanting inward. Okay, so that's different from this. Okay, but you know, it really still depends on the purpose of your movement. If you cross the hands, that's actually lifting like this, so your hands will cross in the middle. When you lift like this, the hands are parallel. Like in Tai Chi, when we open the hands, the movements are parallel and they're square. You don't move into the center and then do that. So it's very specific to the posture, and if you don't understand that concept and you don't really understand the reason why, mainly has to do with the sort of the functionality of the movement and the direction of the movement that gives you the sort of the structural integrity and the efficiency of that movement. And all of that becomes part of a learning and an understanding of how this stuff works. We work with what we call levers and fulcrums, or actually it's mechanical advantages. So if you can get power from the body more efficiently, it really has more to do with your coordination and how you transfer or transition into sort of the shifting of that weight. If you shift weight, you shift momentum, you shift your body into a direction that actually becomes part of the load force that goes into a direction. So one of the simplest things to figure out what a load force would be is to go like this. You stomp, right? Why do people stomp in Kung Fu? Because that's a direction of force. So if you're going to go up against a person and you step in and you stomp on the top of their foot, that would be a stomp on the instep. That could be painful. That could be a good defensive mechanism. But people like to get fancy, and instead of stomping on someone's foot, avoid that and then try to hit them in the face. But the thing is, you never get to hit that target because no one stands there and lets you. But it's pretty easy to stomp on someone's foot because they don't expect that. So just for a strategy of what you do, you stomp the foot, draw the attention down, and then you can punch them in the nose. So anyways, on that note, that's it for today. See you next time. Actually, we have some classes in the next few days that's being streamed. So we're almost at 1,000. So why don't you share this and get, how much? 4 more to go. 4 more to go. Can you imagine that? We can't get the last 4. We can't get the last 4. The best thing to do is get another email. If you have 2 emails, we can get twice as many. But the thing is,